Howdy, it's me, Jessica. Oh, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm here today to guide you through your express core and stretch class. If you happen to have a band, I I love these fabric bands. I have some fabric bands, too, a couple at home. If you have either a fabric or an elastic band, bring it if you want a little extra inner outer thigh resistance for today's workout. Otherwise, I do recommend having a block. If you don't have a block, maybe you can bring a rolled up towel. We're just looking for something that you're going to squeeze between your legs. So maybe you have like a little small plastic ball. Anything that you've got is just for one move. So if you don't have it, that's totally okay as well. We're going to get started in 3 minutes down on the floor, coming right into work today with some glute bridges. So bring those props nearby. Gonna make sure you have some water. Feel free to turn on some music if that's going to help keep you inspired as well. I'm just going to check on things here on the interwebs. Stand here for a sec because there's a delayed feed. If you're here early with me, I encourage you to get up out of your chair, find any sort of movement or stretch that feels right for you. Maybe just reaching up towards the ceiling, grounding through your feet. I like the idea of starting to find some engagement in that abdominal core because we're going to really work on drawing in your lower belly today. Yes, we are. Oh, Jessica. Okay. Oh my gosh. Careful what's around you. Do as I say, not as I do. And it is cold. It is cold around these parts today. So I'm going to start with this delightful long sleeve shirt on. We'll see how long it stays on. It's 30 minutes, you know? I'm down to be a little extra warm. My feet are literally cold right this second. But I'm going to take those socks off because I don't want to be slipping around on my mat at all. If you happen to be wearing shoes, it's less of a problem. Shoes are actually a great way to find a little more grip with the floor than you might have with just your foot. So that's a deep thought if you're nervous at all, because they said glute bridges are coming up in just around a minute. Keeping shoes on is like a little assist. All right, so if you are here with me right now, we're gonna make our way down to the floor where we're shortly getting started. I'm like having trouble seeing. There we go. Oh, sorry, Uncle Bunkles. I wish you'd go away. All right, so our first move. Oh, if you want, you can already put your band around your legs. Just a little extra challenge here at the very beginning because we're actually going to be working on adduction in the beginning on squeezing those legs together. But we have very short breaks between each of the three glute bridge moves that we're going to do. And you're welcome. We're going to do each of them twice. So I'm just going to put the band on now so I can get into the workout as quickly as possible. It's that magical time, y'all. Hello, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and we have a lot of glute and ab focus for today's core and stretch. So coming down to the floor, you got a block and a band. I got the band around my thighs, not around the knees, and I'm squeezing whatever. I have the block. You might be squeezing a towel between those thighs. We're going to do 45 seconds of work because I'm a nice lady. And then we're going to go right into dropping the band. So first up is just going to be lifting and lowering in a glute bridge. Then we're going to get rid of the block between our legs, stay up nice and high, and just open and close our legs. If you need to come down for a sec between, that's okay. And then we're going to alternate between kicking one leg forward, lowering it down, bringing our knees in line, bringing it back in, kicking one leg forward, lowering it down, bringing it in. All right. So yeah. So 6 rounds all together. That's where our movement's going to start for the day. But before we begin our glute bridges, I want you to really melt and relax into the floor. So you're down on your back, your shoulders are really pressing into the mat, nice and heavy, and your lower belly is pulled in. So you're keeping that engagement of your abdominal core, a real draw in from the pelvic floor, almost like if someone's going to punch you in the stomach, the way you brace your lower abs. Another way to think of it, someone described to me yesterday, the sensation that happens when you go, and things tighten up low at the bottom. I also like to imagine the way you might try to, if you suddenly got scared or someone burst into the room and you needed to stop peeing, the way that you would clench everything in nice and tight. So we want to keep that tightness of your abdominal core when we press up into the glute bridges. It is a controlled press through your feet, especially in the beginning. Try not to open those legs or roll towards the inner or outside of the foot. And let's go ahead and begin. So you have your abs drawn in nice and tight. You can have your hands down on the floor, or you can even turn your palms up towards the ceiling to make sure that you're not really muscling through those shoulders too much. Ready for our adduction glute bridges. So squeezing your thighs in towards each other. We start in 3, 2, 1. Begin. If you don't happen to have a block or something that you can hold on to between your legs, just bring those legs together and squeeze your thighs in towards each other. And we're working nice and slow with our breath because we're also warming up right here. So I want you to carefully, with control, lift and squeeze. Take a moment to even pause at the top, and then slowly with that breath lower. Inhale, lifting up, squeezing at the top, but not trying to thrust, so we're not overarching our back. We're creating a nice straight line, or as straight as we can today, and shoulders are pulled down away from your ears. So work to create that length through your spine. There's so much happening right now. Drawing that belly in. All right, so next up, we're going to remove the block. We're going to lift up into our glute bridge, open those legs. So maybe you roll a little towards the outer edge of the foot and then bring them together. And that's it. Working on keeping these hips nice and high this time. And your heel should be just about underneath of those knees. Make sure those shoulders aren't creeping up towards your ears. I know they have a tendency to. And find one spot to relax. Focus your eyes on the ceiling above you. Remember, if you need to come down for a second, totally okay to come down. Maybe you even need to do one clamshell and then lower yourself down. Inhale to lift up with control. Keep that belly pulled in. Open up, bring it in, and lower down. Great work. Just a couple seconds left. And remember, next up, we're going to stay high in this glute bridge. We're going to kick one leg out, lower it down, heel close to the floor, lift it back up, knees in line, and change. Begin. So kick one leg out, lower it down, single leg glute bridge with a little bit of lift, and then back in. Yay. Hello, Uncle Buck. You're being so needy. I just want everyone to know that I have taken Uncle Buck out twice today. As noted, it is very cold outside, and this is a dog that refuses to wear a jacket. So he doesn't want to stay outside. Someone is holding in some business. It's both of us. Uncle Buck is holding in some, and we are holding in those abdominal cores. Make sure those shoulders aren't creeping up. We're finishing round 1 right here, right now. Awesome. So go ahead, lower yourself back down. Bring your prop between your legs, squeeze it, and then back to just lifting and lowering one more time through. Make sure you're still really engaging that core. You're even drawing your rib cage in towards each other. but you're using your breath to find movement, finding that squeeze, that lift through the glutes, pressing through your heels, but keeping the balls of the feet on the floor here too. So not rolling out or rolling in for the first move, just lifting and lowering at the pace that works for you. 15 seconds left. Starting to really feel this on the back side of the body. Feeling my abs getting a little warm as well. All right, so next up, we're moving your prop. We're going to press up. Here we go. And clamshell it out. Open and closed. And remember, you can lower down as you need to. You can pet your dog if you want. So this is a great exercise if you find yourself having to be down on the floor with your kids or your pets. You're like, man, I was going to work out. Here's something you can do. And still give them a little love and attention, especially because we're moving slow and focused. Ooh, my shoulders are creeping up towards my ears. For yours, 5 seconds left right here. One more glute bridge move. Here we go, alternating kicks. So kick out, nice straight line, lower down, lift up, bring it in, and switch. Try to keep those hips nice and high the whole time. Try not to let those glutes come down. I know it's hard, especially if you don't have those hands pressing into the floor for a little bit of support. You can use the back of the arms on the mat as well. Just a teeny little assist. It's also going to help you to really stay engaged. Think about those shoulders being away from your ears. Keep it up. Just about 10 seconds left. Oh. Make sure you're still breathing. You're amazing. Ah, great. Lower it down. We're going to take the band off of our legs if you are wearing it. Go ahead, open your feet to mat width distance apart, or if you're not on a mat, you're opening your feet to a little wider than shoulder width distance apart. And you're just dropping those knees to one side. Little alternating internal, external rotation here, keeping our backs on the floor. Doing what feels good with the arms. I got my arms in the goalpost. Let's just go for a couple more windshield wipes on each time while I double check to see what's coming up next. Oh, I'm a nice lady for about a minute because we're going to stay down here on our backs. We're just going to open up those hips, breathe through it, give our abs a little bit of a break as we come into a butterfly. So go ahead, bring the soles of the feet together. You can have your heels as close to the center line as possible or as feels good for you today. Maybe it feels really tight to have your heels close or uncomfortable. Oh, feel a lot more stretch working and happening with my heels a little further away. You can even experiment with using those props, placing, you're so far, placing whatever you've got underneath the outside of those thighs. Let's just take a couple more really big, deep breaths. Maybe you reached or ran to grab some cushions off of your couch or something else so you can truly relax, melt into the floor here. Great. So we've had about a minute here in this butterfly. We're going to remove our props now. You might even want to sit yourself up, just depending on your strength. Probably not. We've got 3 moves coming up once again, but we're only going to do each of these for 45 seconds, just one time through. I'll even change the timer so we don't have to hear extra beeps. Great. The first move that we're going to do is a butterfly reach through. So just reaching up, getting those shoulders up off of the mat, but keeping the outside edge of the feet on the floor Exhale to lift up, inhale to come down. If that sounds too easy for you, you can lift your feet up off the floor and get a little bit more of a front crunch. I'm feeling a little tired today, still not feeling 100%, so I'm going to keep my feet on the floor. The second move is just lifting up into a reverse tabletop. We're going to go for alternating arms and alternating legs, a really controlled dead bug. And if you think that dead bug is silly and not doing anything, well, I think you're wrong, because if you're really pressing that lower back into the mat and drawing that core in and moving carefully, pressing through your heel as you go through and then bringing it back up, it is some great work. You're going to, again, move at the range of motion that works for you. So if it's too much for you to get your heel all the way towards the floor, I want you to kick up a little bit higher towards the ceiling to make sure that your lower back stays on the mat the whole time. That is the goal for move number 2. And then move number 3 is going to be a suitcase crunch. So working a little bit harder, extending our arms all the way out, extending our legs all the way out, bringing your elbows and knees to touch. So again, if you need to extend your legs more towards the ceiling than towards the floor, and then bring it together, that's an option. So we're starting off in this butterfly crunch. You had a little extra time to enjoy just the opening of your hips here. Remember, our goal is simply to get those shoulders up off of the mat, decrease the space between ribs and lower hips. We start in 3, 2, 1, begin. So exhale up, inhale, nice and slow on the way down. Exhale up, inhale on the way down. If you want, you can pulse it out. I'm going to do a little bit of both, getting 5 pulses and then 2 slow crunches. With challenge comes change. So if you hear someone say something that you really don't want to do because it sounds so hard, you don't have to give up on yourself. I mean, just because everyone else is doing jumping squats in a class does not mean that you also have to do jumping squats in a class. But maybe you do one jump squat and then you can do the rest. Take a break, step out. All right, coming into those dead bugs. So keeping that lower back on the floor, drawing those knees up, arms up, opposite arm, opposite leg. Press through that heel and then bring it back in. Press through your heel. Remember, if it's going to lift your lower back off of the floor to extend your leg all the way out, nice and straight, close to the floor, you're kicking a little bit more diagonally up towards the ceiling. That's totally okay. You got to do what works for your body today. Every day is different. Maybe you just happen to hurt your lower back. And if you're moving even slower than I am, I'm proud of you. The slower that we move, the more engagement it almost takes. So don't be tempted to rush through it because I said that. All right, next up we got that suitcase crunch. So again, shoulders come off the floor this time, and then everything extends out. Shoulders come off the floor, and maybe you're kicking your legs up towards the ceiling, but you're drawing elbows in towards your knees. I'm going to keep pressing through those heels to get a little bit more going on. Into the back side of the body. I find it to be a little bit harder to press through the heels than it is to drive the direction with the toes. What about you? Get those shoulders up. You can do it. Last 5 seconds right here. Pardon me while I cough. We made it. Go ahead. Relax and release those knees back down towards the floor. Come on into a windshield wipe again. Oh, we get to roll over onto our bellies next. Roll over onto your bellies. Come into tabletop, all 4. We're going to cat-cow it out right here. Nice work, everyone. Do you feel those abs yet? Feel that nice stretch as you come down into cow, really stretching your glutes behind you. Lifting that chest, pressing into your hands palms. Oh my gosh. This is why these noises I make. I'm so glad that so many of our classes, we don't actually have the audio on. Sometimes when I take Sarah's Monday night yoga class, I groan. I groan a lot. But if you find yourself groaning too, I want you to let it out because expressing yourself during class, making some sort of noise. Let's come off our hands for just a second, shake them out. Feels good. Make some circles. Making some noise, telling yourself, yeah, or just like screaming a little. If that's what it takes for you to keep going, you do it. I love the things I've heard people scream out when I'm at the gym. Thankfully, not so much at Miter when we're in Miter because we're at work. But at those big box gyms, it gets real silly. All right, everyone. Coming back to repeating some movements. So I'm going to change my timer back to 6. We're going to stick with some movements being on one side, and we're just going to hit them on the opposite side. So I'm going to give you the option to put this band back on your legs. I'm going to go for it because it's a little extra challenge. And I like that I'm asking you to do it before I show you the moves that we have coming up. So next we're going to go for a bear hold. So a little stimulation of those toes, tucking your toes under. You're going to press and lift those knees up off of the floor. And we're going to do our best to just hold it here for as long as you can. The interval is 45 seconds. So if you need to put your knees down, or if you want to maybe just step out into a plank at some point, just to kind of change it up a little mentally, but still really be using those abs to brace and engage without putting your knees back down on the floor. That's move number 1, a bear hold. Next, we're going to do a bird dog with Tic Toc. So here's where things get to be unilateral a little more. Making sure I have some length. All right, we're going to extend all the way out for our bird dog. Elbow to knee crunch. Reach it out. And then we're going to Tic Toc. So we're going to bring that leg out and then back in. So elbow to knee crunch, extend, extend, wiping to the side and back in. You're just doing your best. It's going to be a little hard to keep that heel in line with your glute as you talk, but try. I'm going to try also. And then our last move is going to be just a glute kickback. So lifting and lowering. In fact, you can even take that block, squeeze it behind your leg again to get a little bit more hamstring work. Ooh, this block is big. I'm going to cheat and use a weight. If you have a weight, grab a weight, grab a weight. Sorry, I didn't say it. I'll put it in the description for everyone later. So putting a weight behind your leg, we're going to do the same thing. Just squeeze and lift. All right, so we got 6 more minutes of work to go right here, starting with that bear hold in 3, 2, 1, begin. Honestly, it's not even 6 minutes. So we're just pressing up, pressing into those hands, pumps, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Make sure that you're not looking down towards your knees. You have a nice flat back or as flat as possible, and your eyes are down towards the floor. If you need to take a second, step out into a plank or bring your knees down. Whatever you need to do, we're just doing our best. Make sure you're not collapsing into that chest. So come on back to the idea of squeezing those shoulder blades together and drawing those abs in. 10 seconds left. You can do it. You're worth it. Take those big breaths. 3, 2, 1. Release those knees down towards the floor. Let's do right arm, left leg. I'm going to move over a little bit so I have some space for that bird dog. So extending everything out, drawing it in, a little rounding in the back, crunch, extend, then Tic Toc to the side, bring it back in, crunch, hold for just a second, extend, Tic Toc to the side. Oh my gosh. You're doing the best you can with the space you have today. Oh my gosh, I really am starting to feel this in my stabilizing glute. I hope you are too. Awesome. Let's work that right glute. So go ahead, place the block behind that leg. Or your weight, we're just going to squeeze and lift. I want you to think about pressing the sole of this foot towards the ceiling, and nothing else should be moving. So better to move a little slow here. Make sure you're not trying to, rock through your upper body at all. I'm just going to pick up my pace, work a little bit harder. Oh, 5 seconds left. We got a quick little break before we come into our bear hold again. All right, remove that weight. Shake out your hands. 3, 2, bear hold. Lift it up. Check in with that upper body. Make sure you're not rounding or collapsing through the back. How close can you get those knees to just hover off of the floor? Make sure you're not looking at them though. No wrinkles in the neck. Ooh. Way to go, everybody. We've got just a little over 10 seconds left right here. Just a few more breaths. 3, 2, 1. Lower yourself down. Go ahead, place that weight behind your back leg. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Bird dog first. All right, opposite arm and leg. So extending left leg, right arm. Bring it together, crunch. Take a second, hold. Extend it out. Tic Toc to the side. Thanks for the reminder, Fred. Nice work, everyone. If you're getting tired of being on your hands here, you can always lower down to your forearms for the next one, for that glute kickback. Also, if you wondered, right now, this is the moment. I regret wearing this sweatshirt. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Back into tabletop. Place that weight or whatever you've got behind the left leg. Squeeze. That way we're getting a little extra hamstring work. I'm starting off slow to really focus on the form of the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, of squeezing that weight as tight as I can behind my leg, and also of just that leg moving, making sure that I'm not collapsing through my chest. Same checklist. I hope that you are running down repeatedly. 5 seconds left. I lied. It was 9 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Oh, you're amazing. Go ahead, get rid of your weight. Plant your hands on the floor. I'm going to tuck my shirt in. Then we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to send our hips up towards the ceiling. Take a moment, pedal out through those heels in down dog. So bring that belly closer towards your thighs. You can have a bending your knees if you need to or if it feels good. Look forward slightly. So we're not bringing wrinkles too much into the neck. We're just not staring at our toes here. I like to press all the way into the balls of my feet and then work to really press those heels towards the floor. Sometimes I even like to lift up and roll to one side, a little more stretch towards the outside of the legs, which is a great idea, especially after we did those fire hydrants, after we did the abducted glute bridges. All right. Take one big inhale. On your exhale, we're going to come forward and hold it in plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press into that up dog one more time. I like to shorten my stance. Pedal through those heels again. Nice. Take a big inhale. Extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. And then draw it forward. Let's come on into a a lunge. You can drop that back knee down towards the floor. You can lift yourself up and even place your hand on your thigh if it's uncomfortable for you to have your hands all the way down on the floor. Stay nice and lifted. Feels good. Let's bring it back into a hamstring stretch. So bringing that glute back towards your heel, flexing your front toe. Oh, that's nice. Towards your face. And then plant that foot back down. Shift the weight forward. Tuck your back toe under. Lift up into your plank. Lunge. Extend your right leg all the way up towards the ceiling. One more time. And then plant it on the floor. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Try not to rotate your chest towards the left side. So while you're here, can you still have your chest squared towards the floor? So probably a little less external rotation of the hip. And then we're going to draw it forward into that plank form, just like we did a moment ago, and plant your left foot down. So see, that down dog to plank was a little warm up. You can release that back knee down towards the floor. You can keep your hands on the floor. Make sure your knee's not going past your toe. Lift yourself up if it feels good. Oh, it feels good. Hopefully it felt good even if your hands were on the floor. Great work, everyone. Plant both hands down, tuck your back toe under, lift that knee up, extend your leg up to the ceiling. One more time. Relax your toes down. Walk your feet up to your hands. Maybe walk your hands to your feet. Let's take a moment and just dangle. So shift the weight into your heels. You can bend your knees. I like to really bring my belly to my thighs like a table to eliminate that gap. So there's no pain in the back because you're just reaching without support. Send those glutes and hips behind you. Bring your belly to your knees. Use your body for support. We're going to take a nice big squat before we finish. So heel toe those feet out. Press into your heels, lift your toes, press into the balls of the feet, lift your heels, and finish with your toes pointing in like a 45-degree angle to the side. I know, still getting a little extra work if you have those bands on your thighs, might even be supportive. I want you to just use a big inhale, find some length through the back of your legs, find some length through your back, and exhale. Drop those hips down, starting to come into a squat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squat. If it's hard for you to reach the floor, hopefully you thought to bring your block or grab something or just walk your hands out a little further. A little bit more modified of a squat there. Awesome. This last time, let's come on down. Let's just squat it out. Not going too low. We're transferring our hands to our legs. I told you, I'm a nice lady. Go ahead, drop one shoulder forward. Open those knees wide to the side. Drop the other shoulder forward. I'm even bracing my forearm on my thigh. Bring that chest down and then roll it up like a cat. Tuck those hips under, stack your shoulders over your hips, roll them down and back, heel toe your feet back together. Great work. Bend your knees, inhale, reach all the way up to the ceiling. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. One more time, bend your knees, inhale, reach up, reach through one hand a little higher, taking a nice big bend in the side. Reach through the other hand a little bit higher. One more inhale, lift, exhale, arms come down. Awesome, y'all. That's all the time we have for today. So feel free to take these bands off or maybe challenge yourself just walking around your home with some bands on just to get a little bit more inner outer thigh work. If you do, be very mindful of where you place your feet. Make sure your heels are behind your toes. You're not turning them out as you walk, just like we did in the last squat. If you have any questions or concerns about what we did today, oh my gosh, my lower half is tired. I hope that you'll reach out. Once again, I'm Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I thank you for joining me for Core and Stretch.